So don't scare the people drinking at the bar though.
Stand by.
Hello, hi, welcome to the first annual New York City Indie Podcast Fest, right here from the Producers Club. Hello. Woo! So I am your host, Eurydice Roman, and welcome. And my show, as you can see, the shameless plug on the t-shirt is This Is Your Spotlight, and it's also a podcast available on streaming platforms, and it's called the Your Spotlight After Show. And today's guest is Uptown's one and only Spider-Man that I know of. There could have been more Spider-Man, but this is my guy here. Okay, this is my guy. I'd like to introduce you to Tyson the Cosplayer. Woo!
Hello, everyone. Good to see each and every one of you guys, and thank you for having me.
Yes, so we're gonna have a seat. We're gonna ask Spider-Man a couple questions. Here we go.
All right.
All right. So when did you start doing this?
Hi. So I started doing this back in 2018. My first experience was at New York City's Comic-Con. It was totally dope. I got to see the other cosplayers and interact with them. And what actually pursued me into doing this even more was the credibility and, the announcements and, the influence and, just the overall performance of people and feedback that I got from doing this was just like, you know what, I have to just keep on doing this.
And you know what's good about when people do cosplay, sometimes it's like you said, it's the smile you can put on somebody's face. It's the joy. Because sometimes in New York City, we don't notice much. You could be bleeding on the street. We'll pass right by you like, oops, you're bleeding. I'm sorry. You was in my way. I was trying to get to work. So what I admire about what you do is that you brought it to Washington Heights. And he's recently on World Star, for those of you who don't know. And some of the comments were like, yo, Spider-Man, where are you? Like, bring the salami, bring the plato. I'm like,
Yes. I was actually in a different suit. I was Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. And, I usually just like roaming around, just being a vigilante around Washington Heights. And it was one particular day where, I was out there on 179. They actually recorded me. They were like, oh, look, it's Spider-Man 2099. And I was like, oh, the next thing you know, I was sitting on the world. So I was like, wow, like it went viral. It went like 12.3K views, over 229 comments. It was crazy. I was like, wow, this is what positive vibes is truly about.
oh, yeah. So the suit that you're wearing today, which one is it?
So this suit is actually my Miles Morales 3D printing suit. This is from the game. This is one of his coolest suits. It's pretty cool. I actually love it. I usually get all my suits from somecosplay.com. It takes like about a month to come in the mail.
So in terms of wearing the Miles Morales suit, that one too. Okay. So when you wear the Miles Morales one, how much feedback do you get from people?
I usually get a lot more feedback from wearing Miles Morales rather than wearing Miguel O'Hara because people usually like Miles Morales, and based off the movie Across the Spider-Verse, how Miguel O'Hara was treating Miles Morales is the reason why I get more positive feedback and I get a lot of negative feedback when I'm Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah. So for what you do, what is the toughest part?
The toughest part is not really a tough part because at the end of the day, I just try to spread positive vibes. I feel like, people go through so much at work, at home, just in a daily life, in the neighborhood. And if I could just change 30 seconds in a person's day, that's the ultimate hero of the day, just changing moments of people's life is what really counts the most.
That's true. So what's the funniest? Because sometimes you get some funny reactions. shameless plug. Him and I were walking around after we shot the commercial for this event. There's a couple drunk people going, "Yo, Spider-Man!" I was like, "Oh no!"
Oh yes, yes, yes. A lot of
I'm off duty.
yes, yes.
I'm not his agent.
Yeah, they usually just make funny comments like, "Oh, look at that grown man in spandex." Like, what's wrong with that? Like, it's crazy. What's wrong with the guy climbing poles in spandex? Like, he ain't got no. Blah, blah, blah. That's like the most crazy comments. So at the end of the day, you know what? It's well worth it. I take the negative with the good. At the end of the day, I just do it just for the love of just being neighborhood's one and only Spider-Man.
Yes. So would you ever venture to like for example, like Tom Holland, the paid Spider-Man? He goes to like hospitals and stuff like that. Would you ever branch to do that or not?
Of course, of course. I feel like that's the best thing to do. I actually would actually want to start doing that pretty soon.
Yeah, it's tough though because you gotta worry about you ain't trying to catch COVID, you trying to spread joy. You know what I mean? It's a little scary. It's like It's like I ain't signed up for this. I'm sure the hospital will be like, no, you better sign this waiver right here.
Yeah, just to see the little boys and girls like, how are you doing? Spider-Man, just change your name.
Exactly. It'll be Spider-Man in a bio suit, like, nah, I love
Yeah, 6 feet, but I'm here to see you.
Yeah. So, but to be honest with you, because you do so much. Is there a particular time of day that you like to do the dressing up and the posing or things like that?
I usually try to do it on nice days. I try to take advantage of the day. If I'm just sitting at home casually eating coffee, drinking coffee, or eating a muffin, I'll just get up. I'm like, oh, look at my closet, pick out a suit, put it on. Let's go outside and be a hero for the day. Let's go spread positive vibes. And whatever happens from the day happens. I usually take pictures with people and make people's day and get on top of people's cars and on top of people's lights and on top of. I actually got on top of a police car once too, and yeah, and I remember a different time when I actually went into a pharmacy, and the guy was like, "Oh, get on top of the counter." I was like, "Seriously?" Like, yeah. I was like, "Oh, yeah, let me get on top of the counter." I got on top of the counter. He gave me a thing of water at the end of it. It was so cool, and I remember I got on top of a fire truck too. I was like, "Oh yeah, let me get on top of the fire truck." I climbed the ladder on the side, took a photo with a fireman on top of the fire truck. Like, it was pretty cool. So yeah,
That's
like,
nice.
yeah, like there's no limits for me as far as being a Spider-Man. Like, I'll just do whatever I need to do to spread positive vibes and make people's day.
And that's what attracted me to want to, aside from, I'm like, yo, that building looks familiar. Is he on 160th? What? I was like, I recognize that school. Wait a minute. You mean he's in my backyard? And like, I didn't have to do much except just reach out. Thank you, Instagram, to reach out to him and just be like, listen, I'd like to interview you because, again, it's very tough. A cosplayer is like, time to do this and dedicate their time and energy. It's draining. It's not easy.
Yes, it's very hard to be a cosplayer because some people, they really don't understand the life. They don't understand what's the opportunity of like cosplaying a hero. Like, there's so many other things, more important things out there in the world that what's the sense of, coming to a place for a couple of hours and dressing up as a hero and spending that excess money. But they actually don't realize that that's what actually makes us do it because we are people that's been pushed aside by trials and tribulations of our lives, that this is what we focus on. This is how we get back into society. This is how we get back into making positive vibes or just positive energy within ourselves or motivate within ourselves to be better, to get back into the world, to let people know that no matter what happens in people's lives, there's people that are outcasted, but still there's things for people who be out that and they have opportunities to shine, to let people that
See, possibly thank you. And I think that that interaction brings up a plethora of issues that we face. And I'm glad they tackled it on, even though it's an animated, cartoon
Yeah.
in its essence. But it's a real life thing going on. There's a lot of people that are being told you can't be here, or things will be better without you. You're just like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still gonna do what I have to do. Just like I committed to do this podcast. I'm doing it.
Definitely.
Whether come hell or high water, somebody goes, you can cancel it? No. You don't understand. When I said I invested time and energy, that's what I'm going for. It's like a bull seeing red. I'm going straight for that. For that flag. I might hit myself on the wall. I might be bleeding a bit, but I'll remember why I went full church. So I'd like to say thank you so much for being on my episode.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you
This
for having
is
me.
great. And I hope to see you around.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me. It's time to run up.
So we're going to take a short break.
We'll be right back.
So if everybody needs to stretch their legs, use the bathroom, by all means. All right, so I'm gonna turn on the house lights. So I'll be right back. Hello. Here.
Craky. Crack. But anyway, I know I spelled that wrong, but anyway. But it's just the reason why I call it Aaron Smith Can't Lose. I don't know if you're not guys familiar about it. Maybe you guys are not too old enough to know of a TV show by the name of Parker Lewis Can't Lose. That was a TV show back in the day, white boys. Anyway, fuck it. So I'm just gonna basically go off the top of my head, and we're just gonna go from there. So I am sick and tired of this Black Ninja Turtle called the Mayor. Like seriously, have you really seen it and looked at him at one point? Look at him seriously. If he if you put the mask on, blue, orange, green, yellow, Nigatello. Like seriously, like I looked at him like he got the cheese and grin like that. We don't have a mayor. We have a club promoter. Like seriously. Yeah, like you have people out there in the school and all that in the rain. What's wrong with you? Shit, black people and water and ships. It's wrong. Anyway, but it's just crazy. Like I came here because I live in Queens with my wife and my daughter, and like the whole ceiling was coming in. Like I have a titty on my wall, like a wet white titty like this, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself wow, there's a titty on my wall. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy about anything. Thank God nothing fell down on anybody and stuff like that. Otherwise I'd be in court. But anyway. Let's move on. Like I said, shout out to you guys for coming out and enjoying yourself. It's kind of hard to get black and brown people on this weather. How it's cold and all that stuff like that. Especially in the next couple of months. Puffer coats and tents and all that. But anyway, let's move on. By a show of hands, how many people are from Manhattan? One person. Holy shit. Okay, 2 people. All right, cool. All right. Bronx. Figures. Right in the front. Y'all like the Wild Wild West. Now, you would not get me caught dead in the Bronx. Seriously. Like, what is going on there? Like, my goodness. You better come with a bulletproof vest and a 45 if you're going to 138th. And anyway, moving on. Brooklyn. Anybody from Brooklyn? Uh-huh. Yeah, right behind the Bronx. It figures. Mm-hmm. What part of Brooklyn?
New York.
Brooklyn, New York?
East New York.
East New York? Jesus Christ. That's just as bad as the Bronx. What's that? J train, A train?
It's getting gentrified.
Not quick enough. I'm just joking. White people own New York now. Sorry, white people own Harlem now. Like that. I feel like that. So when you see people, white people especially, staying on the train after 110th Street, you already knew it's been gentrified. That's all I'm going to say. Straight up. Now, I don't know. Like people get kind of about old people, maybe little 30s, 40s around here. You know what it was. Before '96, you didn't see one white person, maybe one woman with dreads or something like that. But he was the plug. You didn't know. Yeah, that's who he was. But they took over. It's fine. I don't care. I'm trying to get the fuck out of New York. But anyway, Queens. Anybody from Queens? Besides me. All right, cool. Where in Queens?
Rizzo Park.
Ooh, bougie. All right. Is that like Left Rack City and all that shit? Like that over there? Oh, all right. Okay, that's gonna be ungentrified soon. Trust me on that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Crazy. No migrants here, right? Okay, cool. That didn't go anywhere. Oops. No migrants here? Any migrants? No.
Yeah, he is.
All right. Yeah.
He said to migrant, he doesn't understand the word you're saying, right?
Okay. Como? Huh? Yeah. No, just I said, my ex-wife was Puerto Rican. But anyway, Staten Island? Definitely not.
Where?
Republicanville. Yeah. I stayed out there for 2 years, and that was too much for me.
Why?
Because the rent was cheaper 2 years ago. That's why. Yeah. Who's the smart ass in the back that said? All right, I'll see you after the show. I'm just joking. Like I said, it's all love. Before I was a podcaster, I did comedy for like 10 years. And, I don't do that anymore because it doesn't pay the bills. But moving on. So I'm at this point where, as a New Yorker, it's starting to piss me off. Like, I'm tired of this city. It's dirty. It's nasty. Like I said, our mayor is a cosplayer like yourself, but you're way better than he is. I just want to just don't put his head into direct sunlight because you will probably go blind. Seriously, he has those suits from Steve Harvey's garage sale.
I get mine from some cosplay.
Shout out to you, brother. But I just, I'm never voting black again. That's all I'm gonna say. Never. Sorry, I just can't do it. It's all love. But we had our first black president years ago. We had our first orange president before after that, and now we have our first quartz president. Oh my goodness! Joe Biden. What is he, like 1,000 now? I mean, I said I don't know if I seen him or I seen the Crypt Keeper on TV the other day. Tales for the Crypt, I'm gonna live and stuff like Jesus Christ. I'm just like I said, I used to be this nice, cheery, nice, good looking person, but not anymore. Ever since I had a kid, I'm just like, you used to not value sleep when you didn't have children, but once you have a kid, that's like your life. It's like to go sleep and just, that. But that'd be for 5 minutes until they wake you up. But anyway, moving along, and it's just so I just really just don't understand why people are the way they are. But I could care less. I don't know if that's understanding to you or weird to you, what have you like that, but. It's kind of crazy to me how people just come out and just show their ass, for no money. You're just going out there, and on a train and all this other stuff, and Showtime, all this stuff. I hate that shit. Seriously, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see you flipping off the rails and all this other things. I'm trying to go to work. I want to hear you that. I want to hear your bongo drums. I don't want to get that the motherland, all this other stuff, because if you came back before all this shit happened, none of this would go on. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to ask you, spare change. What the fuck is spare change? If it had change to spare, you wouldn't have it. That's all I'm going to say. Seriously. I get it. People are homeless. I understand that. But, I'm not going to support your habit either, because we already know where it's going most of the time. That's all I'm going to say. So shout out to weed smokers. I know some of y'all smoke weed out here. Anybody smokes weed? Anybody smoke weed? Anybody smokes weed? Exactly. Anybody going to give somebody money for weed? Exactly.
You gotta have 5 on it.
That was 30 years ago. I was 8. Now I'm showing my age. The Lunas, I get it. Yes. All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's because you're the guest doesn't mean you take over the show. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Yes. Be nice, Aaron. Be nice. But are we being recorded by the government or something? That's what it sounds like. Anyway, it's really, like I said, I had a show lined up and I had people going at, but I'm just going off the top of my head. And this is what I usually do with my podcast. That's why I call it Aaron Smith Can't Lose, because I really can't, because I don't give a fuck. That's what it comes down to. That's basically the show. I've done it for 6 seasons. 6 seasons. This will be the last one. The fifth season was actually supposed to be that final season, but my wife got tired of me bitching about I couldn't finish it and all this other stuff. She's like, you get your ass down to that show and you finish this and be done with it because I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm like, yes, ma'am. You know, but clearly she wears the pants in the family. I just borrowed these today, so. But it's just that's just pretty much how I am. That's how I've always been. That's how I've been with my comedy. You know, just outlandish, out there, outspoken. Kind of get blamed for that nowadays. You can't really say what you want to say without somebody be like, oh, I'm offended. I'm like, I don't give a shit. You know, like, you know, it's basically it doesn't matter because you're going to say what you want to say anyway. So I'm going to talk about it anyway. So why would I be offended anyway? You know, I just don't understand that. I don't understand why people are so offended by everything. Literally everything. Oh my God, it's raining outside. That's not, you're not in control of that. Like, I'm offended that you have an umbrella. Like, what the fuck? Really? I don't want to get wet. Like, you know, hoodies are just that work by themselves to me. Honestly, I'm not trying to catch cold. Bad enough you got COVID, SARS, Corona, you know, smelly people in the train. All that. I'm not trying to smell that shit. There's one point in time where I just put a mask on to not smell people on a train. I'm sorry. I just don't want to do it. I really don't do it. Like I said, I feel bad for you. I understand that people are homeless, but soap is $1. You can wash your ass, even if it's hot in the summer. They just put the sprinkler on. You just run through that motherfucker. You be good. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, that's what gets me in trouble. Telling the truth and being myself, and I can understand that. And yes, you know, okay, there is a certain ex-president that go too far with that, and that's his prerogative because you know he has the Caucasian for the persuasion. But anyway, let's move on. But you know, that's just who he is. But people like that just go way too far. I'm, you know, not rich enough to do that, where I can just go off and put my mouth off, you know. And who gives a fuck anyway? But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to say what I want to say anyway. And I encourage people to do that as well. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to take chances. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to just do something that you don't want to do. You know, because life is short. You want to fuck that bitch, you go out there and you go and you fuck that bitch. You want to fuck that dude, you go out there and you fuck that dude. Because life is short and who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I wore this Tupac shirt today and they caught the killer who was basically stitching on himself for the past 15, 20 years that they did the shit. Congratulations, but you know, yeah, you know, it's a shame that his mother didn't get to see that they got the guy, and you know, hopefully this is it. You know, maybe they can go to Diddy's house and find the evidence. But moving on.
Yes. Say that. Yes.
I like him, but I don't like him. He's like one of those people. It's like, you know, you shake their hand, you gotta wash your hand, put it in sanitizer, and then bleach it, and then all that other stuff. You know, put it under the sun, you know, and this, you know, that thing like. But there's always been rumors about him, always about him. Way enough more than my 30-minute time limit that will get to me. But anyway, you know, let's hopefully that will be resolved, and maybe they'll find Biggie's killers too. Hopefully, but they should probably look in Bad Boy office first. But anyway, moving along. Speaking of rap, it's garbage now. I don't understand why every rapper sounds like Batman now. Close enough. But I can't do the, you know, Tekashi 139, whatever his name is, you know, Stitchmaster Effects. I can't do him. Who's the other one? What's his name? I don't care. You know, he's not a rapper. The Weekend, he should be the Weekday. I don't know what his name is. I you know, like he sings like somebody literally kicked him in the nuts and it went to his stomach. I see why. Like, yeah, good. God gracious. But anyway, like I said, forgive me, I just get a little carried away. That's just, you know, that's just me. That's just who I am. And it's really like amazing that I used to be way worse until I got a daughter. because I realized that I said now that I have a daughter, I have to be the example of the first man that she's going to see in her life, and she doesn't need to see that asshole when I was like maybe 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, and I have to really just see that to myself. And if I don't do that, my wife surely will, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna smack me in the head that she sees this, but it's all right. But I love her. My sister too. But does anybody have any family members that they can't stand?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
A few.
Yeah. That's why they're not here tonight. Stay your ass home. Sweep the basement of that water, right? Yeah. But I like. What do you call? After the show, right? No, I'm just joking. There's no teasing or something like that. It's like the movies. You silence all cell phones during the show, or you will get called out. That's all I'm gonna say. Be nice about it. If he really wants it, he'll call you back.
It's a babysitter.
What?
It's a babysitter.
What babysitter? What's a babysitter?
No.
The crib? The crib's my babysitter when she goes to sleep. That's the babysitter shit. I don't trust nobody right now. That shit in the Bronx? That was terrible. Horrible. I'd be under the jail. Anyway, it's a little dark. Let's move on. Like I said, I'm a little crazy, a little bit and stuff like. I have all the sports teams that are terrible. The Mets, the Jets, the Knicks. They're all terrible. We say that you're in the New York fan of sports, you're going to be a little pissed off, a little bitter. And I know about the Yankees, they're the best. Yeah, they haven't been best in maybe 5-6 years. So stop it. They have this $1 billion stadium, and the projects is right behind it. So stop it. No, stop it, please. At least the Mets give out free tickets. They should be free. All of them. But anyway, let's move on. Anyway, did he call you back? Sure. In a minute? No? Okay.
I'm the man. It was his phone that
Oh, listen, it's 2023. I don't judge nobody for anything. Man, woman, beast, child. Hey, it's your life. That's fine. That's what you want to do. That's on you. I'm not doing that. Like I said, I used to be one time, you're going to hell. That's not my choice. I'm not gonna. That's not how. I don't have to wait over that. That's not gonna be I'm gonna be in line heaven. You interrupted my set. That day. So go to hell.
There's my phone down there. I have to keep my phone.
Oh. What service you got? Metro piece of shit? Yeah, me too. Terrible service. Like I said, I'd rather have a rotary phone than Metro piece of shit. You have a rotary phone? It sure does. And it takes longer after the dial. But you know what? That's what I miss about the old phones, because you can't violently press send or end on your phone. If you can do that on your regular phone, I miss the. That's what are you gonna do? But did you pay your bill? Awesome. That's great. We got the $40 plan? All right. Awesome. Me too. Did I pay my bill?
Oh no.
Shit. Doesn't matter. How much time I got left?
5 minutes.
Huh?
5.
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, huh? I can just sit here for 5 minutes to do this. They'd be like, what's wrong with him? But a lot of things. But anyway, so it's just really interesting to just be here and just to talk with you guys and just be myself. And I appreciate that. And it's really just cool to just, just shoot the shit with you guys and just have a good time. And I don't know who the fuck you are. I probably never see you again, but that's fine by me too, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, see it like this. I'm like, I guess that's it. Yeah. Thank you. And drive home safe. I heard somebody bust their ass. Who was that?
It was the host. It was the host.
Ooh.
That's me.
Oh, follow me on De'Aaron S. Smith and whatever fuck you got there.
Shameless plug. Personal cat news. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. He was my biggest supporter for this. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Why are you taking me?
Between baby and
So, do you guys want to take a little 5-minute break? If anybody needs to use the bathroom, stretch your legs. Okay, so you good? Everybody's good? You can hang in there? All right. Yes, I'm doing this all the time.
This is your burrito.
Oh, yes. All good. We're going to do a little 5-minute break. And next is Notorious Moms, the podcast. She's coming up. Let's make a big round of applause. So enjoy your 5 minutes. Go to the bathroom. Stretch out. I don't know what the bartender went. Don't ask me. I only just paid for the theater. I don't know about the drinks.
No, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. Do you need me to decide if It's gonna be for 22. And if you return in 22.
I got 300.
Yeah, there is. Let me see what the person is. I mean, we can do whatever we want.
kind of ways. It causes like deep rooted attachment issues, relationship issues, a whole bunch of other stuff. But I have my guests, Daisy and Amanda, and that's what we're gonna be chatting about today. So how you doing? Thank you for coming. Thank you. Like I said, this topic is a little deep. It's not funny. It's not comedic. But I think it's important to bring awareness. So, like I was saying, the mother wound, I was actually scrolling on Instagram and I found it. There's a site, I'm not sure, I forget what it's called, but it talked about, your mother having this kind of trauma that affects only the daughters, right? And it affects women of color. It affects women that are living in poverty. It affects women that are, immigrants or that have migrated from other countries. And, as I was reading, I'm like, I wonder why, this affects our culture specifically, right? Because we are women of color. And Hispanic women, of course, I don't know about anybody else's mama, but my mama got trauma. And I actually do feel like it has been passed down to to myself. But how do you guys feel about that? Like, I know Daisy's mom is no longer with us, but Amanda's mom is. But you guys can speak to the point of like, with your parents or with your mom specifically, like, have you seen that growing up? Like those little bits and pieces of traumatic experiences that you can identify?
My mom's mom was never really all that affectionate with her children. So the benefit of that was that my mom turned that around because she was, a little more affectionate with us. At the same time, her mother also wasn't there for her as much. And that kind of like, my mom wasn't there for us as much as we needed her to be.
Right.
She was present, yes. She told us what to do, yes. But there were certain things we weren't able to talk to her about. Like we should have been able to go to her about boys and sex and, things like that. And it was kind of shunned, so she became a little bit judgmental of those things and we shouldn't do that because that wasn't like that. And it was more of a religious upbringing than anything else. But in turn, I think us as mothers, or her daughters, we always used to say, I don't want to be like mom.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like mom. So, and I know, and to say that mother wound gets transferred to the daughter, gets transferred to the sons too.
Yeah.
I feel like, sons also carry that, the way that their mother was with them. And they learn how to, treat their children or treat their wives or daughters through that. And I see like, how my brother is with the women in his life, and then I see my son do whatever, because I know I've bestowed trauma upon my own children myself, because we're never perfect as mothers. I see how they are. And, you learn. You try to be different if you're aware of those things, but you just try to make things a little bit different. But, yeah.
Maybe. Well, feeding off of what she stated about the affection, that was also, my mother showed affection, but in different ways. It wasn't the hugs and the kisses. It was, here's something I bought for you, or here's something I made for you. Her mom was not as affectionate either, but I saw affection in her for her grandkids. So it may have skipped, like giving it to the kid, but then for the grandkid, it was there. But we still grew up with not as much affection. So when I had my boys, I was always snuggling them and hugging them and kissing them and I love you. So my boys are affectionate, or at least more so than what we were taught.
I also saw my mom was a young mom, so she had to grow up fast. For us, I also saw that she allowed us to be kids to a certain extent. So she didn't force certain things on us. Was she strict? Very much so, because her mom was strict with her. But my mom was a young mom. She was married young. She had all three of her kids young. But because of what I saw with her, I refused to be a young mom, married young. So I was in my 20s when I had my first son. But with all of that, I also appreciate what I was installed as a Latina, Puerto Rican. Like, I appreciate this being strict because the presentation that I have now is because of what she installed in me and what her mom installed in her. So it's like my mom had her wound, but she didn't have as much that she passed on to us. So yeah, we do have certain, I would say, issues, but not to the certain extent that I hear some other children going through with their mom or what their experiences are. I think about thinking about what both of you guys were saying, and it's like, I wonder why, sex or these types of things were never spoken about. Y'all were having sex.
No.
Y'all were having a lot of sex.
Mommy had 5 kids.
I
There
mean-
was no TV.
Like my dad, there's 16 of them on my dad's side, and there's 12 of them on my mother's side. Like I come from a very, very large family. And it's just like, why? I always wonder, hindsight is 20/20. You think about it when you're an adult, it's like, hey, why couldn't we talk about these things? Y'all were bumping and grinding.
Right?
I don't understand why this was such an issue, because in a lot of our families, especially Hispanic families, sex is one of those things. It's like, oh, you can't talk about that. And when you come from when you bring religion into the mix, because my family was also very Catholic. We didn't practice. I don't practice, but I do believe in God and stuff. But it talks about sex in the Bible, and it talks about prostitutes in the Bible, and it talks about all of that shit. So I think about that sometimes, as an adult going back. I'm like, I don't understand why this was so hard. You know what I mean? And I digress because I'm going off the topic. But it's just that's kind of one of those things for me that it's just like we never talked about, why sex is so amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know about anybody else, but if you're doing it, it could be a wonderful experience. Sometimes they ain't gonna be so many wonderful experiences, right? But I have, my son is 19, and we never really got into that real, the birds and the bees, but we've spoken about hey, this is what you do. He has a girlfriend, and I'm like, he's very, very open. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, that's just a little bit too much. I understand, we have a type of relationship, but keep that for, those are conversations for you and your friends. And with the religion, it's like, oh, you have to go to church, you have to get your kids baptized and all that stuff anyway. But I feel for me and my experience with my mom, I feel what I saw growing up, first of all, both of my parents worked endlessly. They were always working. They were never home. And I understand now it was to provide a home that they didn't have, because both of my parents, I'm very proud of them. I love them both very much, but, they grew up in poverty. My dad has an 8th grade education, but he's the smartest man you'll ever know. I don't care what nobody says. He's taught me a lot of things.
That's right.
Right. Because they have to go to work. So it's kind of one of those things. And, right now with the journey that I'm on with my mom, first of all, I'll give you a little tip that I haven't spoken to my mother in 2 months. My mother's alive, but I haven't spoken to her in a very long time, because of the fact that I feel I have been experiencing this mother wound for much more time than I would like. And as I kept reading and kept researching, I'm like, yeah, this is me. One of the things that they spoke about is a defense mechanism called fawning. So fawning is basically your defense as a child to want to always appease to your mom.
always want to make her happy, always want to be of service, and then it's never reciprocated and it's never enough. But for you, as that little child in you, you know, you always want to make your parents happy, right? Because if you think about, you know, the dynamic between kids and their parents, it's like, okay, I do good, I get good things. You know, I do good in school, you know, I get good things. Right? So it's kind of like, it's that. So when I read about fawning, I looked at myself very, very, very deeply in the mirror, and I'm like, hey, that is me, right? Because the dynamic that I have between my mom and I, my mom was kind of like yours. Like she loved with gifts. The bigger the gift, the more the love. You know, the more expensive the gift, the more she felt like, hey, I love you. I love you this much because this costs this much, right? And as I'm getting older, it's like, hey, you know, we've had a lot of disagreements, and that's not right. You know, in my opinion, like that's not. I think love is an emotion, and it should be organic. You shouldn't have to buy anybody's love, right? You shouldn't have to be like, and I don't feel like you have to put a price on it. But I think that in some situations, you get to that point where it's just like, okay, like, are you doing this because you love me, or are you doing this because you want me to accept you? You know, because I feel like our parents carry their own trauma. I think we just talk about that. You know what I mean? Because I look at how my grandmother was. First of all, I never liked my grandmother. I'm sorry for the people that really love their grandparents. Unfortunately, I did not. I was not right. I was not able to have that relationship. First of all, my grandparents on my father's side, they died when I was very, very young, and I never really liked my grandmother because she was very mean. She was not very nice. So I never got that grandparent experience that I hear a lot of people talk about. Like you talk about your grandma, and it's like, oh, my grandmother was like the best, and I'll be like, damn, I don't know what that feels like. Because my grandmother was a bitch. No offense. Like she really was. I hope my mom is watching right now. But anyway, so as far as like your mom and how you've seen bits and pieces of trauma, do you feel like maybe now or sometime back then you would ever want to like address that with them? Or you know, because sometimes we want to say things to our parents and really can't.
Yeah.
With the way my mom was raised, I felt comfortable sitting with my mom. After a certain age, as long as I was open and honest with her, we had you know, she gave me more trust. Even to the day she passed away, she would sit down with me. We would talk. She would listen, and I do appreciate that. She appreciated me as an adult, as a mom. In my relationship, she never got involved. So, you know, I thought she would, but she didn't, which was, I feel like my mom, based on how she, you know, what she went through as a child, she tried to fix certain things with her kids. Well, in my experience, I can't speak for my siblings. In my experience, I was comfortable with my mom. If I cut a class from school, I would be like, "Hey, mom, I cut class today." She would just be like, "Okay, but I'll do it again." You know, if I was gonna hang out, as long as I told her I was gonna hang out, she was okay with it. So it's like I feel like with her, you know, I don't feel like she really had issues, but she tried to reverse the dynamic with her kids, so we wouldn't experience the same thing. She did have, you know, her way of giving affection, which to this day I miss. It was calling me in the morning for my birthday or cooking my favorite meal for my birthday. Like she was there to acknowledge. She was there for everything for me. Would I have wanted more as an adult, as a mom of an adult child now? Yes. Do I appreciate everything she did? My mom died young, so I didn't really, I was 29, she was 49. So I really didn't get to sit down, with her to have these discussions. Because in your 20s, you don't really, you're not worried about that. So it's like maybe now, probably, I would have loved to sit down and discuss her youth and her trauma, but it's unfortunate I can't. But she is like, I can't explain, but she was there when she needed to be there. But again, would I want it more? Yeah, sure.
I think now, as an adult, I can speak to my mom a lot more about like my relationships. Like I said, we couldn't go to her for anything without being that's not good, X, Y, and Z. Now, we kind of make her aware. Why you being judgmental? Like, don't do that. And the last thing she wants to do as a Christian woman is be looked at as a judgmental person. So she'll pause and she'll be like, okay, But like now I go to her for like relationship advice and stuff like that because my mom's been through it. She was married prior to my dad. And then she's been with my dad for like 45 years. You know what I mean? And my mom has been through hell with my dad. And she's always been like very faithful, very loyal, very consistent, until she was just like, she had her breaking point, and I see that in her, the wisdom that she has because of all that she's been through with her parents. Her dad wasn't around all the time because he was a merchant marine. He was always out. And then her mom, you clean the house, I go out, and y'all are supposed to do this, X, Y, and Z. She was different with us, and I see everything that from what she's told us, the things that she's told us, I see her being different from what she's had. I can go to her now, be more open with her now as an adult than what I was as a kid. I wish I could go to her as a child, when I was a child. And I never wanted that for my kids. I never wanted my kids to feel how I felt because I felt like I couldn't go to my parents. So, my kid is in the audience right now. He's 20 years old. And he...
Shout out to Isaiah.
Hey, baby boy. Mommy loves you. But, I always told him, you could tell me I'm wrong respectfully because you want to keep your teeth. You can tell me I'm wrong. Because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm your mother, but I'm not perfect. Let me know. And we've had a very open relationships, and I'm sure that there's some things that he hasn't said to me. There's some things that he hasn't told mommy. And that's okay. I got my secrets too. But for the most part, he was like, nah, you're not right for that, mom. You're not right for that. He has, and I'm okay with that, because our children are our biggest teachers. Like they're closer to, and I, it's my spiritual belief too, but they're closer to the ethers than we are right now because they just came from that realm, and they could teach us so much more as children than we can as adults because we forget as we go along, but they remember, and they're always going to remember, how we've treated them, and then their children are always going to remember, and so on and so forth. But
Oh my God, I love that you say that because, so I have two kids. I have an 18-year-old and a 3-year-old. So my 18-year-old, we grew up together. I say that all the time, and I know I made a lot of mistakes, but with my 3-year-old, so she's gonna be 4, I'm doing a little bit of gentle parenting. I don't know if anybody's heard about that. So gentle, no, yes, exactly. Don't judge me because gentle parenting is not the Latino culture, right? So if anybody doesn't know what gentle parenting is, in my head, I'm just gonna say my definition. It's kind of like being a little bit more, soft, no hitting, because I don't know about anybody else, but I used to get my ass whooped because I was very, I don't know about anybody else out there, but I used to get my ass whooped because I was very sassy and I was very like, it has to be like my way or whatever. And my daughter's the same way, very much so, just like me. So I have a hard time with that But, you know, to speak to what you said, like, I noticed that, and this is something that my husband has taught me too, is that giving her explanations helps the situation because she's very curious. So she always wants to know, like, hey, why is this like this? Why is this like that? And I know, like, it takes so much time because back in the days when I used to ask, oh, because I said so, just do it.
I'm guilty of that.
Just do it.
I'm guilty.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, but why? I don't get it. Just do it. And it's just like, shit. Like, so I think about those times and I'm like, so here I am explaining to a 3-year-old why, whatever the case. And I find myself doing a lot of explaining. Right? So that's where we at with it. But I do wish that, you know, my parents would have explained a lot of things to me because I feel like because I didn't get a lot of like explanations, I could have probably done things different. Right? You know what I mean? Like, I think that if I would have had a little bit more, I wouldn't say like a little bit more care, but a little bit more attention, right? Because I was the baby. And, you know, my parents were always working, like I said. So I feel like that attention was like needed, right? And then sometimes, like, I have to catch myself because, like I said, I'm on this like journey. I'm like on this self-discovery. Like, I'm trying to figure out my life, basically, trying to figure out my shit. And it's just like, I noticed, like, when I would get home, it's like after working a long ass day, I would get home and it's just like, okay, I have this toddler. I just want to sit on my phone. And I would just be sitting on my phone, scrolling through Instagram. And I'm just like, you know, my husband was there because, you know, I got home from work or whatever. And then I'm just like, all right, I'm done with this day. But now, like, I'm starting to learn, like, she needs attention. Because when I get home, it's like she's asking me all these questions. And we're like, okay, how's your day? So I'm becoming less of my mother, because my mother was very much like that, and more of like the mother that I want to become, right? Because you are so right. Our kids teach us things that sometimes it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know, you know what I mean? How beautiful parenting could be the second time around. For me, that's how I'm feeling.
I'm guilty. My oldest is 24. So with my mom, she was strict to a lot of extent. And I feel like I did that with my oldest. Like, he will look at me, my youngest, and be like, well, if that was me, I would have gotten slapped for that. And I was just like, again, like you, I was 23 when I had him. So it's like, yeah, we kind of grew up. I made my mistakes with him. Could I have toned it down? Definitely. But it was the way that I was raised as well. It's like, don't question nothing. You know, I got my little belt, got the extension cord, the hanger, you name it, I got it. So with him, as a single mom, you know, my mentality was like, I'm doing this by myself. I have a boy. I have to prove to people that I can do this. So my son was a presentation of, he's going to be walking straight. He's not going to look left, like military type, you know? So could I have done things different? Definitely. Do I regret some of the things that I did? Yes. But as a 24-year-old, he doesn't rely on mommy. He's been away from me since he was 20. He's never called me and said, Mommy, I need. Of course, I'll be there for him if he needs, but and I'm like, you know, it may have not been the way he wanted it, but I'm very, very proud of the man that he is today. Now, with my youngest, I honed it down with him. But I always be like, when he gets a little sassy, I'd be like, you want to call your older brother and ask him? Because I love
The babies don't be getting ass whoopings. Why is that? When you have the second, we don't want to beat our kids, I guess.
Isaiah, I always say he was a bump around kid. I'm sorry, baby. He was a bump around kid. And he's my oldest, you know, and then I have a daughter and a son that's younger than him. And he's like, ooh, if I would have did that, I would have got my butt whipped. I'm gonna tell mommy, you know, like, because I treat just like you, the oldest, and he's still respectful to this day, you know, like, people always compliment, he's so respectful, he does be.
Yeah, they say the same thing. Yuri, how much time I have?
You still got 5 more minutes.
All right, I got 5 more minutes. We're gonna wrap this up. So in essence, I hope everyone has enjoyed this little talk. I think it was like therapeutic. I don't know, it was therapeutic for me. to like be here and talk about this. So, I think that healing the mother wound is really important. So, this wasn't because, when I asked people to come on the show, they were like, oh, I don't want to go there bashing my mom. It was never going to be like a bashing session, right? It's more like to bring awareness to the things that we have been through as children and don't want to continue to perpetuate this generational trauma. I know we hear about that a lot, but it's true. When you're young, you don't think about it, but then you get older and you start looking at things that have happened in the past, and it's like, hey, that wasn't right. Right. That wasn't cool.
Yeah.
That's not something that I would have been comfortable. But what the hell do we know? We were kids being raised in, in the whirlwind. But I say all that to say, anyway, love on your moms. We're all moms. Love on them. Love on each other, because this world is really fucked up and it's very cruel. And that's it. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you.
El COVID.
Parte del agua de ayer es.
No. You didn't bring me back whiskey. I'm mad at you. Un chin de miel de abeja, un chin de limón, y se la cara.
Ay, no.
Por la mañana.
Por la mañana. Bueno, it's 5 p.m. somewhere. I don't know where, pero. All right. So, quiero decir lo siguiente. Gracias a todo el mundo por venir para acá. Thank you to everybody for coming to New York City Indie Podcast Fest, the first annual one. Thank you to all the podcasts that have participated thus far. And now, without further ado, sin pausa, sin nada, los enemigos del silencio.
Gracias. Con el live. Porque se quedó. No nos habla.
Wilmer, no te extrañamos, Wilmer.
Bye bye.
Disfruta, Santo Domingo.
Hay que hacer el intro como dice el Wilmer. Bienvenido a nuestro podcast, tu podcast, mi podcast, Los Enemigos del Silencio. Y hoy, que se cuide Wilmer, que se cuide, que hacer el trabajo rápido.
Ya estamos.
Está feo, Wilmer. Vamos a hacer en orden alfabético entonces.
No, dale, con usted.
Aquí tenemos el hombre del Sasco Sara.
Que vino a buscar visa hoy, ¿vale? Vino a buscar visa hoy.
El de la mirada, ¿cómo es? La mirada penetrante.
Ay.
¡El
Escobar.
También tenemos el bo número 2. El mudo.
Ya le ¿cómo se?
Vos para 3 talibán, a ver.
Tenemos a mi primo aquí, el favorito de todo, como dicen. El Gio López. Y yo soy su host por el día de hoy, Big Mente. Wow. Y ahora, como estamos aquí, yo estoy pensando, viendo entre la diferencia de nosotros, Gio, con ellos. Se ve dónde están los cuartos.
Ahí está la abundancia y para acá está la pobreza.
Me siento como que voy a cantar aquí.
Sí.
Con esa luz.
Tú me cambiaste la vida.
Como que iban a buscar visa, no sé, van a pedir un préstamo.
No, a mí me va para la gente, yo también bañé.
Oye,
No sabemos, no
mi papá me dijo la presión, la primera impresión
No,
era que vale.
Sí, bueno. Cuando se bañan ayer fue en el chat. Yo estaba pensando, yo me estoy viendo, a los padres de ellos no lo mandaban a cenar.
No.
Digo, muchachos, esa gente parece que cogieron son de una vez y
pero
¿ustedes nunca fueron a la bodega?
¿Cómo que no?
Claro.
A la pulpería.
Sirviente, gente que le iba a la bodega.
Al colmado.
Al colmado de la pulpería.
Ok, al colmado.
A Miguelito, manín,
Porque
mandar.
nunca sabe lo que colmado en estos días. Usted sabe de modelo, qué tipo de dinero. Pero nunca conoce.
Digo, ¿qué es una cosa que tu mamá te mandaba a hacer o tus padres te mandaban a hacer cuando tú eras más chiquito?
No, más sobre, porque chiquito siempre sí.
Eso lo dijiste tú. Eso lo dijiste tú, yo no lo
Yo pensaba que era chiquito hasta que yo le conocí allí.
¿Qué está pasando? ¿Qué está pasando? Te quiero, pero te está pasando. No, imagínate, cuando uno mandaban al colmado o bodega, que le decían a uno, oye, vete a la bodega y tráeme esto, esto y esto y esto. Y yo en el camino llegaba al colmado y siempre se te olvidaba y tú comprabas lo que tú querías. Y cuando llegabas atrás, te daban una pela.
Pero tú te ríes, por eso me pasa hoy todavía. Bueno, la mujer me mandó al supermercado. Emma, no te lo voy a poner lejos, me mandó ayer.
No, es cuando te dicen, ven allí. Cuando tú estás mal ocupado haciendo lo que sea. Ven allí.
Veme allí, y tú allí a dónde. Allí siempre lo más lejos.
Lo más lejos de sí.
Allí siempre lo más lejos. A mí ayer me pasó, ayer mismo, no es que hice lejos, la mujer mía me mandó, oye, tráete un par de vainitas, tráete unos plátanos, una fruta, brócoli, zucchini y unos guineos.
¿Qué es par de vainita? ¿Qué es par de vainita?
Eso, vean el episodio que salió.
¿Cómo tú le describes a muchos de ellos qué es una vainita?
Una vainita, cuando no son vainas grandes, son vainas chiquitas.
Claro, porque una vaina es una cosa y tú
Sí.
sabes lo que es una cosa.
Sí.
Una vaina que viene de la cosa que tú tienes.
Exactamente.
Y cuando la vaina está bacana.
Una vaina bien.
Si hubiese hecho la vaina bacana, no se me queda en la vaina, ese es el problema.
Sí, pero empezamos como un relajo, pero mira cómo ve esta vaina.
Un aplauso, sepa que estamos en vivo. Ahorita dicen que, pero esos chivitos no son como no soy nadie.
Nada más somos yo y Kevin Hart.
Kevin
Kevin Hart que me llame, para yo abrir.
De 5 a 5 para abajo son
Nos
ustedes.
parecemos los dos pequeños, feos. Pero
No, tú te has visto un espejo, loco. Tú tienes-
por eso es que lo digo, porque me he visto en un espejo.
no, por si acaso. O sea, en familia tratándote de ayudar.
No, lo que pasa.
Y la mujer mía me mandó y me dice los plátanos, la fruta, zucchini, brócoli, vaina y guineo para hacer una vela al niño. Yo me voy para el trabajo esta mañana. ¿Dónde están los guineos? Se me quedan los guineos.
Normal.
Normal. Ya aguanta mi mucho porque ya muy tarde para irme para el trabajo. Y no puedo. Esas son vainas que yo paso a los niños.
Y te vas a poner de bruto con ella, para que te pongan a dormir en el mueble.
No, a mí me mandan a dormir para el mueble una vez.
Bien hecho.
Sí.
Yo le apoyo a ella.
Y duré 3 minutos en el mueble. Y dije, yo no me está acabando mi
Yo la compré yo.
Vaya, eso usted si usted quiere.
Pero nunca le tocó, a ver qué amigo.
A mí no me jodieron mucho porque yo no soy popi, como dicen.
No, ¿qué te parecen dos diputados que trabajan para el gobierno? Mira, ¿ustedes qué?
Nosotros somos bonaeros.
Ya.
Bonaenses.
Bonaenses, sé que soy.
Sí, pero
Ni sabe cómo.
yo tengo un compadre de Bonao y no se viste así.
Quizá la abundancia no la misma.
Oye, lo que digo, cuando todo el mundo en Bonao anda parado.
Aquellos que creen que esto es fashion, no, esto fue un perro que me salió cuando me mandaron a comprar una rodita de salami. Al colmado, no la bodega, al colmado.
Tú ibas a comprar el colmado.
Pero ven acá, ruedita de salami, un pedacito de ¿qué fue?
Ya tú puedes ver. Roditas de salami. Aquí, de los que están aquí, ¿a quién me han mandado a comprar una rodita de salami? Ya te puedes saber que es hablando. Copia al fin, Oye, de que para sentirse incluido, oye.
Yo pensé que él nos dieron $100 por ese pantalón.
No, ahorita pago más porque no tiene.
Y él va a decir que eso es fashion, parece que se cayó con lo
Probando naranja.
¿Cuántos años tú me llevas, Janet?
9 meses.
9 meses.
Eso fue una el otro año. Dos saliendo y el paño entrando.
Jesús.
Fue de una vez.
No, pero tu papá había que tener una televisión.
Chiquitico así.
Nacieron en el mismo año.
No somos aquí, eso me pasa final del año.
Ah, mañana, ok, no, porque eso se llama Irish Twins.
¿Cómo?
Ustedes son
No, espérate, ¿cómo se llama eso?
Irish Twins.
Eso es un chamaco del barrio mío, eres tú.
Irish Twins.
¿Qué? No, está pasando.
Eso es-
A mí no me jodía mucho, a mí lo que porque yo era callejero, a mí me gusta la calle, janguear, bueno, así. A mí lo
De
que-
chiquito. Tú querías ser guagua,
Nos dimos cuenta, no cayó.
Me dice, no te quiero comer corito porque se va para el río escondido. Yo me iba con mi mochila escondida llena de traje de baño
Ajá,
y venía cambiadito para atrás.
normal.
Normal. Yo casi no me jodía mucho de que como andaba, pues dime vaina.
Yo casi me ahogo con un río.
Ey, escondido, jodiendo. Oye, se juega. Imagínate que yo hubiera llegado con este hijo de la semilla, loco, ajodado. Escondido, oye, en un momentito río escondido.
Claro, porque nosotros nos íbamos para el río en un grupito de chamaquitos así,
La
loco.
fula.
Oye, me tiro yo de que, que yo sé nadar, que yo soy guapo.
Y tú sí. De que yo he visto gente nadando en películas, ya no se ve nada.
Suerte que había un hombre ahí, un campesino de esto, de esto que nada más viven metidos en los
Ey,
ríos.
no hay tigre que sepa nadar que ese.
Pero así que me hizo, mira, hey muchachito, se me va a jugar.
Ni a tu amante se acaba tan rápido.
Mira, yo dije hasta aquí llegué.
Yo no quiero una partitoria, pero yo me acuerdo de ese tigre. Un tigre que se llama Maroba.
Que siempre tiene un apodo, ¿no?
El tigre te hablaba de la gente. Parece que una gran puta, parece un burro ese tigre.
Eso mismo,
La voz se la está jalando ese tigre.
eso es aunque que estaba cortado. Aunque sea flaco, estaba cortado así.
Siempre.
¿Qué era lo más difícil de ir al colmado?
Que tú no ibas jugando y te jodías.
No, el bobo no era ahí el colmado, es que yo me quería trabajando. en el
Bueno,
colmado.
sí, tú eres el colmado.
Yo era el colmado.
El delivery es el colmado.
En el colmado de mi casa habían dos teléfonos y cada no tenía 2 líneas.
Ah, no, pues tú eras
Rico.
de eso.
Oye,
Rico, porque cuando había internet, cuando comenzó la era del internet, yo tenía que desconectar el teléfono y tú tenías 2 líneas y yo soy Poppy.
Ahora,
pues diga
espérate,
eso, ¿qué
pero
pasa?
espérate.
Era por el negocio, no era
Sí,
por gusto.
pero pregúntame a ver si yo tenía internet.
¿Negociando también? Por Puerto Rico.
Pregúntale a ver si yo tenía
No,
internet.
dile que sí.
No, yo no podía tumbar la línea del negocio.
Ustedes no tienen calvo, yo me estoy muriendo.
Pero mira los ojos.
Pero tú no estás viendo, yo estoy sudando aquí.
Y él tiene los tuning. Él tiene los, ¿cómo se llama? Los Romeo 24.
El otro tiene los Steve Jobs 3.
Cuidado, que son.
Mira,
Él va a presentar el iPhone, el iPhone 15 en ese.
¿Tú has visto la funda de.
Ah, no,
que
pero-
regalaron antes? La vaina de
¿y tú
Navidad.
pagaste por eso, sucio?
De Navidad. Eso es reciclado de funda.
No, pero.
¿Quién fue que salpicó pintura esa vaina?
No, pero.
No, eso fue cuando yo fundía.
A la verdad que
A la verdad que la gente
disparate.
Ey, a la verdad que la gente blanca gasta en los
No,
cuartos
disparate
que sea.
eso. Nosotros entramos a una bodega y de una vez nos dice, cállate atrás, que se va a robar.
Sí.
Pásale un shopping cart, que se
Oye,
va a robar. Lo que yo quiero.
eso es lo que van a ganar.
Tienen crédito aquí.
Señores, eso es bullying. Eso es bullying.
Oye, no, la verdad. No, pero la verdad.
No, pero cuando duermo yo.
¿Eh?
A mí,
Ah, son tus problemas. Yo sigo el ronco durísimo.
Pastillas de depresión y de ansiedad.
yo parezco un greda,
Los copes me lo vas a tener que pagar tú.
La pastilla mía de ansiedad es de café que me estoy bebiendo ahora.
Sin lío con el café.
Y de cafeína no tiene nada.
Absolutamente. Estaba en un restaurante ahí abajo que se llama Dique Don Giovanni. Como
Ahí al lado.
le dije a Alex, "Ey,
Giovanni aquí con...
si no quieres que te vote, échame. Esto es de mi papá.
¿Qué es lo que pasó la vi?
Sí,
Y le digo, mira,
no, pero se pasó, me echó boca de más, se pasó.
Él se tuvo que parar y que tú no me lo
Claro, no me ves que con un hombre que tú estás hablando y dice, ya párate. Ay, no, mío, no.
tuvo que brincar de la silla. Dije,
no se muere, no se muere.
Oye, yo en el colmado, yo pasé la lucha al revés. Fue en vez de ir al colmado a ordenar, con las 2 líneas tenía yo a veces, ya tú sabes, como los operadores. Sí, espérate aquí, que soy cuánto, corriendo.
Tú nunca le mandaste un delivery a una gente que no era.
A cada maldito rato. ¿No? Entonces, papi, para defenderse, lo que hacía era que le decía, de que, no, muchacho, tú sabes que Kenny
Echarle la culpa a quién.
vive en el limbo, se va. Buen granón. Usted va a dejar un carajito que está colmado.
Para el podcast
Abusador.
pasado, ¿qué significa el limbo? ¿Qué es el limbo?
¿El limbo? No, por limbo.
Dijo
cabrón,
una
el limbo.
música, una vaina, no es.
No.
No.
Ustedes ven lo que sé, Popi. Oye lo que. Los pobres se Ey, mira qué diferencia tú ves. Tú le preguntas a un pobre.
El limbo no es la cosita.
Oye, míralo ahí, míralo.
El pobre, nosotros no sabemos lo que es limbo.
Oye, no, pero si a ti te pregúntame a mí, ¿qué es el limbo?
El limbo, ¿qué es el limbo?
El limbo, el pobre, cuando se muere de las preocupaciones que cae en el tercer sueño ya.
Es el limbo.
Se muere en el limbo, no quedó. No, pero el rico, oye, entienda lo que piensa.
De que pasando un palo, eso es lo más peligroso, de que tú pones una vaina ahí un palo pasando.
A mí que no me pase el palo por mi camino.
No,
Así.
por ningún lado. Ni por mitad ni por ningún lado.
Se pone cada pared con su
Tú
palo.
jugaste tu limbo cuando eras muchachito.
Nemo.
¿Qué pasa, loco? Tú nunca enganchaste 2 ramos.
Si
Y le pusiste un palo por ahí.
Si usted tuvo su infancia rara, la tuvo. Yo, la mía está bien clara, yo sé lo que soy.
¿Y qué tú jugabas?
100%.
¿Qué tú jugabas como niño?
No limbo.
No limbo.
Lo que sea menos limbo. No.
Como dijiste el otro día, la escondida americana, ¿no, güey?
Claro.
Los americanos no fueron, ¿no? Porque dijo,
La escondida china.
Eso son vainas de tigre. Son vainas de popi.
Y ahora.
Ellos nunca jugaron vaina, cálica, el lampío ahí.
Ey,
dándose
¿Qué
fuetazos.
pasa, loco? Pero mira.
Y Jun, jugaron
Jun.
Jun. Ustedes jugaron Jun. Jun.
Jun.
¿Saben lo que es Jun?
¿Qué es eso?
No,
Pues,
Es lo que te estoy diciendo.
es que tú eres del otro lado también.
La- la-
Somos encima.
Claro, somos del lado pobre. Nosotros que somos
No,
pobres.
ni más ni menos.
No, claro, se nota. Eso no hay que discutirlo. mira.
No, pero si me preguntan por ahí, dime para eso. Sí, eso.
El país mío, yo cuando iba a visitarlo allá en Barín, él yo en el segundo piso y él abajo.
El papá de este muchacho, buen hombre,
Sí.
pero no sirve.
Buenísimo.
Él es bueno, pero no sirve. Eso es lo que le digo.
Para que usted se ríe, es el tío de él que se está burlando.
Cállate, que cuando me vea después,
Oye, yo allá arriba, yo con el peito del dressing, uno quiere pitar el micrófono, aunque yo no sé pitar así. Y me mandaba de que, bueno, pásame la chancleta.
Oye, mi papá era tan bárbaro que yo estaba durmiendo.
Esta es la trabajadora, buscarse.
Una trabajadora cuando me dice, ¿qué tú quieres, mi niño?
Yo nunca tuve trabajo.
Uniforme planchado y toda la vaina.
Uniforme, sí, claro.
Ah, no, yo no le digo.
Te apuesto que cuando tú estabas chamaquito, fuiste a una escuela de karate. ¿Fuiste a una escuela de karate?
No.
A una clase de una vaina. Tú aprendiste a tocar piano.
Tú tienes cara de piano.
El gol se ve que le daba los 50 pesos la merienda el productor del piano y se iba a decir.
Se comió los 100 pesos la merienda.
El piano lo tiene de loco ya. El piano lo tiene de loco.
Tú sabes que a veces, hablando de eso, de que los papás mandaban a uno, lo que más me molestaba, loco, que a veces estaba yo durmiendo en mi casa y mi papá iba, me levantaba y me decía, baja el patio y la manguera del agua, cámbiala de esta mata a aquella mata. Estoy durmiendo, ese bárbaro. Entonces, hacia arriba me miraba, se reía, ¿cómo es la
Sí, el pantaloncillo ahí.
Claro, no,
en el aire.
exótico, como un tipo exótico así. Mi papá es el tipo de gente que tú vas a mi casa y él no importa que él no te conozca, él sale en pantaloncillo.
Sí, no había una vez que yo iba a la casa.
No, él no tiene que ver.
Oye,
si alguien dice algo, dice, esta casa la pago. Claro.
Para los que no saben, el papá de él no tan solo es doctor, es el médico legisla de la provincia de Baní. So, todo el mundo de Baní lo conoce. Y no importa que tú vayas a su casa, ese hombre estaba en su tidy whities ahí. Salía en su tidy whities.
Y no quieras tú eso. ¿Cómo que se llama? ¿No me llama? ¿En su qué? ¿Su tiny qué?
Tidy whities.
No quiero ver tú a mi papá en eso.
Ay, no, pero es un peligro.
No quiero.
Va y sale la vecina, hola, ¿cómo está? Y esa vaina para arriba, no, es un peligro.
Demasiada información.
¿Y por qué te han de estar hablando del miembro de tu país?
Mira que mi papá parece más joven que yo.
Mira, chico.
Mi papá un muchachito.
Háblame, mi papá tuyo.
Mi papá un macho. 100%. Un machito. No, de ese yo no tengo duda, ¿no?
Ey, y con la tecnología también después.
Tú amaneces buscando esa mierda ahí.
Oye.
Oye, mira qué diferencia.
Antes le decían a uno cuando uno estaba chamaquito, deja de usar la computadora que te va a quedar ciego.
Sí. No, la televisión, que no te la televisión que te va a quedar ciego.
Lo más incómodo del mundo es cuando tu mamá te llama para que tú le expliques en un teléfono nuevo que ella se compró cómo mandar fotos por WhatsApp.
O agregar un contacto.
Porque yo le doy el botón ahí. Y yo le estoy dando. O tú la llamas por FaceTime. Préstame un teléfono. Tú la llamas por FaceTime. Y ella lo coge así. Mami, pero yo no te...
Para arriba.
Mami, pero yo no te estoy viendo. No. Estoy hablando con ella así, mami. Enséñame la cosa.
Y ella así.
No, doña, eso tiene una cámara atrás. Que tú la volteas y eso me enseña. No. Y te llama así, tú hablando con ella y tú me la pared ceiling allá arriba. Que tú no sabes qué es lo que te dice.
Pero míralo ahí. Y tu dueño, usted no me está enseñando.
Sí, pero míralo ahí.
Y usted no me está enseñando.
Yo no estoy viendo, tienes que ver el techo.
Hablando de eso, de verdad que los tíos míos son ya gente mayores. Cuando yo voy y visito lo que sea, dicen, mira, este maldito canal, loco, yo lo pongo y no se pone. Los tigres están poniendo Telemundo de este lado y está buscando ver en YouTube. Ya cambiando el canal de YouTube y no encuentran Telemundo de que madre.
Señores, yo no entiendo por qué todavía usamos de que cajita para ver televisión. Yo no entiendo eso. ¿Y por qué?
Porque ya vemos gente pobre.
¿Por qué no es gente
delante el mismo.
No, es que mira, ya tenemos internet. ¿Por qué la televisión tú no agarras y luego usas wifi y ya? Entonces,
Y tú crees que todos andan con Smart TV y Netflix.
Acuérdate que hay smartphones, pero no smart people.
Ahí está el problema.
no digas nada ya, quédate callado al malte.
No es smartphone, no es smart people. Tienes que tener cuidado.
A cada rato también con la computadora también. A mami me sentaba y me dice, mira, explícame cómo yo mandé este email. Yo, mami, tú tienes que entrar a tu email. Yo estoy adentro. En tu cerebro, pero la página ni abierta está.
Oye, tú sabes que la mamá de un amigo mío, voy a decirme el nombre para ayudar. Él le dijo, prende la computadora, y ella estaba buscando el control. A ver, ¿dónde que iba a prender? ¿Dónde que iba a prender el aparato ese?
¿Qué pasa? Esa es mentira.
Tú sabes que ahora ya mucha gente sabe, pero en aquel tiempo, cuando no tenía computadora,
Oye.
ella estaba buscando el control para prender la computadora.
Lo lindo que la mía me decía, enséñame, vamos a poner con el mismo email, enséñame a mandar el email. Y yo, ok, mamera, tú abres aquí, que se... espérate, no, enséñame paso por paso, porque si no, yo lo quiero hacer yo.
Pero,
Y tú le explicabas.
ella venía con una macotica.
Y ya, no está.
Yo le había dicho, mami, mejor llame a esa gente.
Y el libro cuando te ponen de que no, yo lo quiero escribir yo.
Ay.
Y comenzaba a ver.
Con un dedo. No, me escribo con un dedo. Yo quiero así.
Si fuera así de rápido, no fuera nada. No, y sé que ya si tú te desesperas, no te puedes tú desesperar. No.
Mira, yo te parado. Yo te paré a ti. A mí no me abre más. A mí no me abre más.
Estos muchachos y su tecnología.
No, y se sientan con la vecina o con la amiga y le dicen, comadre, ojalá usted ve ese muchacho comiéndose esa computadora. Y con Facebook, ella dice, no, ese muchacho sabe de esa computadora.
Oye,
Ojalá tú veas. Ese muchacho lo va a mandar para NASA.
Cuando si tú saludas a la gente en la calle, es a YouTube. No, pues el Dios mío se come el inglés, Es un animal. Oye, es para presidente, es un muchacho.
Y si te dice que le traduzca algo en español, en inglés, le llega una carta y ella está ahí. Ven, vos, para que me traduzca. Y tú vienes. Y tú te quedas. ¿Y cómo yo digo esto en español? ¿Cómo se dice? Pero ¿y qué tú sabes inglés? ¿Tú sabes inglés?
No hay manera más difícil que tú traducir una. No, y yo quiero que tú la leas.
Y con esa presión.
Y se lo tires.
No es eso. Lo que pasa es que cuando tú estás. Ellos dicen, oh, que mira, que la cámara la vamos a quitar de tal lado. Bien inteligente. Tú tratas de ser lo más dominicano posible. Y no encuentras la forma de cómo decirse.
Y tú terminas diciendo de que no, que el super dijo que yo bloqueé de doble como que
Este hijo, no puedo decir mala palabra, pero este hijo de su madre, de su madrina, no va a hablar ni inglés ni español, es mudo, que tú te vas a quedar, es mudo.
Y cuando le llega el bill de con Edison, que tú le dices, no, ellos dicen que van a hacer un aumento de $30. Dile a esa gente de con Edison y le trae la carta que dije yo.
El do no existe.
¿Cómo que el 2?
El do, porque dice para español oprime el do.
Sí, no.
Pero el do no existe. Yo le tengo que hablar en inglés.
Si tú le
Dile, oh, my mom said that the bill is too high this month.
Oye, espérate. Vamos a hacer como que tú llamaste el sitio, que ahí te mandó. Eddie, llámame a con Edison, que ellos me están cobrando $30 de más.
Hello? Yeah, this is Connection. I can help you.
Dale, dice, no, I'm just... Mami, ¿qué le digo, mami? Dile que dije yo
Que ellos son los malditos ladrones.
Yeah, ma, but I cannot say that.
My mom said you're a robber.
No, dile a ellos que yo pago 1,000, no, yo pago 150 y ellos me quieren cobrar 175. Pero díselo bien, que yo lo veo.
Espérate, mami.
Pero no, espérate, no, yo sí que lo pago.
Ok, pero déjame decirle, she said, espérate, ¿cuánto fue que tú dijiste que tú pagas?
Coño, pero ¿y este muchacho?
Mami,
150, mira, tú no sabes leer inglés.
my mom said she pays $150 and you charging her $175. She wants to know why you charging her $175.
Y ahí él le explica.
I le explico, oh, it's because it's the summertime. You guys have more.
Yo no tengo que ver que se asome.
Y que somen yo entiendo. Aquí no te aprendido aire.
Aquí no se aprendió, pero yo sé quién es.
They'll be like,
Aquí no tengo aire.
they'll be like, sir, I've been sweating my ass off here. She does not let me turn the AC. Ella no me deja prender ese. ¿Qué fue lo que tú le dijiste?
No fue lo que tú dijiste. Yo tengo una mala palabra ahí. No entendí, yo no soy bruta tampoco.
Yo sé que era.
Yo kick you out. Sí, yo kick you ahora mismo, si tú no me cierras.
¿Tú te imaginas que después de esa conversación dice el tigre, ok, yo voy a chequear eso ahora?
El tigre entiende una vez lo baja. Nada más por uno, no por los dos.
El tigre, como tú le diste el uno, no puede hablar español.
Sí,
El tigre está oyendo todo.
A ustedes todavía nos siguen molestando para comprar vuelo y vaina.
¿A comprar vuelo? Claro.
No, porque fulanita consiguió un vuelto en 120 pesos.
Y tú
y tú
No, pero mami el otro día, ella me llamó para comprarle el vuelo y yo también tengo que llevarlo. Porque ella me dice, cómprale el vuelo tuyo cuando tú puedas para llevarlo también. Sí, ella
Un paquete.
no considerando a mi madre.
A mí me preguntan, ¿cuándo tú estás libre? ¿Cuándo tú estás libre?
No, ella me lo pone fácil. Cómpralo tú cuando tú puedas. Para que no son excusas.
Y llévalo y tráelo.
Y ya.
Pero espérate, ellos quieren el vuelo más barato y el mejor día del mundo.
Sí, pues,
El viernes en la tarde, a las 3 de la tarde.
Sí.
Y tú te sabes que
Y no quiere pagar por la maleta, como que eso es.
Oh, no, sí, también.
Ese amigo de ellos.
No, y siempre.
Cúrate atento al chiste. Yo mandé el abuelo mío en el 1A.
¿Cómo?
Primera clase. Yo nunca he viajado en primera clase y le compré yo el vuelo al abuelo mío para que se vaya en 1A.
El popi no somos nosotros, los popis.
Oye.
¿Tú estás yendo?
Unos tigres con la. ¿Cómo se
Tú no
llama?
sabes
Mosaic, la amarilla blue.
Cuando yo
La
viajo,
membresía
yo
rica.
viajo ahí adentro del baño, cuando yo viajo, al lado del baño. Cuando la gente sale del baño, yo le paso los papeles.
La mentira. Y los perfumes.
¿Quieres sola? Toma sola.
Vaina que me quilla, yo era chamaquito, lo que los papás van, tú sabes que la vaina van bajando de 65 a 60, ahora son 50 libras. Y tú sabes que todos los viejos van
La maleta.
Sí, la gente van como con 30 libras de más.
Sí,
Tú lo ves que van
siempre.
con 10 shopping vainas.
Eso
Esa
santísimo.
maleta
Para sacar ropa, loco.
Ellos sacan su. ¿Cuánto tiene de más? 25, no te apures. Aquí
Por eso no pago
Los
yo.
muchachos cargando
mete esos 4 jeans en tu bulto.
No, y tú vas con un amigo de vacaciones y al amigo tuyo se le pegan 3 pantalones.
Y tú sabes que lo peor, que siempre ella, tú le dices, mamá, mire, esta maleta tiene 70 libras.
Pues tú estás loca, yo la estoy cargando, eso es lo que se cuenta. Eso es lo que se
Olvídate que eso pasa.
Eso pasa.
Eso pasa, y ahí está todo en el aeropuerto sacando, va, y la chancleta de la que
Y
se pone.
siempre quieren, te dicen, búscame el vuelo, levántate de madrugada, búscame el vuelo. Sí, porque ellos dicen que es más barato.
Sí, de que los martes de más
Yo los martes, que yo no tiene especiales los martes.
Eso no tiene.
Pero el bobo que todo el mundo está despierto los martes de madrugada.
Yo siempre he dicho te cuento, pero no hay vaina que un viejo llegue más temprano a un sitio que cuando va a volar. Va para 5 horas, la gente desesperada. Ay, el vuelo me va a dejar, loca.
Hablamos de eso en el otro episodio. Yo debí grabar al abuelo mío. Yo creo que yo lo tengo en el dashcam y lo voy a subir. Él me llamó, yo le dije, el vuelo es a las 12, yo te recojo a las 9. Estamos a 35 minutos. Él me llamó a las 8:30. Yo estoy aquí abajo ya. A las 8:30.
Bro, la gente no duerme empezando su
Bro, el abuelo mío tiene 81 años y estaba en pantaloncito corto y un Porsche.
No,
Ahí abajo así parado.
y ese es el de lo que se para. Están llamando a la gente. No, la fila número 37 que entra. Y él está en la 14 y se para. Ya yo voy. Espérate, que va por la 37. Yo voy. No, esta gente cree que es lo que se cree.
Pero espérate que ahora como viejo la uno después de todos estos años dice, tú ves que Mario llega temprano. Hoy fue el día que me montan primero.
Oye,
Se lo llevan hasta en silla de ruedas.
tú sabes también que
Yo le dije, móntese en los conchos, o sea que los viejos, ahora, si tú eres viejo, vienen los tigres en la silla de ruedas.
en Santo Domingo, si vienen 100 gente en un avión, 89 tienen silla de ruedas.
Sí, de allá para acá.
Las mujeres que se hicieron la cirugía, los viejos, los tigres cojos que cogieron tiro allá.
Fueron al gym en la República Dominicana.
Sí.
Esas mujeres van
¿A cuál gym? A la
No, ellos se metieron
No, es que Jim se llama el doctor que le hace la boca.
No, y después suben la foto de que natural.
Es
Todo natural.
es un lifestyle.
Y te le dicen, ah, qué narguita.
Va a seguir. Bueno, mi gente, mire, con todo esto nos fuimos. Aquí duramos 3 horas, pero gracias por venir.
Nosotros somos los enemigos del silencio. Los habladores. No, mentira, hablamos nunca.
Da tu red social.
Yanel Vargas Mars.
A mí no me sigan nada, coño, mentira.
Bob necesita ayuda.
Síganlo para pagarle la afeitada y la recortaje, muchachos.
Si me siguen toditos, me afecto. Con todo.
Síganlo. Gio López Miriam.
Y Biggs Méndez. Gracias, mi gente.
Gracias. Quédense ahí que voy para repartir dinero.
Vamos a repetir.
No, yo no como yo.
Ese es el hijo del doctor, ven acá.
El doctor, hey, es tan tal que yo en Baní, me dice, ¿dónde tú eres? Yo, mi papá de Baní. Yo no digo quién es mi papá, yo digo quién es el tío mío. Es el sobrino de Walter López. Bueno, pero no sirve.
For the
Gracias.
American Dominican version, they had a good time. English translation, no laughter. Okay, so right now we're going to do Q&A for the podcast. So pick your representative. Oh, wait, you're not talking to me, you're talking to my representative, okay? Por si acaso. So who's your representative?
Just one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. You gotta come on. I got Spider-Man too. He's my representative for the day.
¿A dónde sentamos? For class también.
Alex, charge the phone. Alex, charge the phone. It's about to die. I don't know how long Roblox can last. Man. So, anybody have questions for Notorious Mount Vargas or for Enemigos del Silencio? Any questions? Yes.
Okay, this is not as para mi tocayo. Not that much a question, but a comment. I really think you should do a part 2 because it was very timely. Yeah.
Thank you. I will do a part 2. You can follow me, Notorious Mom, the podcast. It's like that everywhere. YouTube, Instagram. Look out for it because I definitely am gonna do a part 2.
No pressure.
Kelly, ¿cuándo tú te estás buscando con el YouTube?
Yo de YouTube, babe.
He did. Anybody else? Preguntas, comentarios?
I have a question for Enemigos del Silencio. With so many podcasts out right now, how did you realize that you have something unique to bring to the table?
No sé cómo responder. Van Boomer's voice or
Te lo voy a decir en español para que tú me entiendas. Translate.
I'll translate. I'll be your translator.
Nosotros no teníamos nada que hacer en la casa.
nothing to do in the home.
Entonces decidimos juntarnos 4 tigres.
So we decided 4 of us to get together.
Habla mierda. We talk shit. Cuando no tenemos una caseta o estresado, nos juntamos y hablamos.
For those that don't know, I wasn't part of the cast. They did their own thing. I was invited as a guest, and then they were like, "Okay, let's keep your ass on." I think it's something different. There's a lot of podcasts out there. It's hard to be unique and do your own thing, like have your own lane. But as long as you're being yourself and enjoy what you're doing, you know, I think everybody should have fun.
Any questions for Spider-Man? Comments? Right up for your next birthday party?
Just keep being authentic.
Yeah.
And keep uplifting as you're doing because that definitely makes a difference and it's appreciated.
Good vibes are contagious.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I will continue to keep on doing this for future references. And if you guys ever need me for any birthday party, any events, I will be there for that.
Yes,
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Nobody has a question for me. It's okay. I just told y'all to show up.
They invited you. When's the next one?
When's the next one?
Yes.
Woo! One thing. The reason why I chose September 30th specifically is because today is International Podcasters Day. So to celebrate podcasters in general, as we're doing right now, por eso que escogí esta fecha. So I might do it next September 30th So this is the first annual one. It took a lot. I did this in under a month. I contacted him. He's like, "You want to do what now?" Okay. He's like, "Como que qué? What?" I'm like, "Don't you use your catchphrase on me? What's wrong with you?" I'm being 100% serious. Like, come on, bro. And then I contacted her, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be fine. I'm not gonna let you
I'm
say
very
it."
nervous. I'm very nervous.
No. And I was like, "Listen, I have my audio person. I'm gonna have a camera guy. It'll be fine. Tranquila. We're gonna make it. Even if there's 5 people here, the show must go on." You know what I mean? Because we all need support. La comunidad pequeña necesitamos todo el apoyo que se pueda tener. And we should support each other. Because I'm telling you, how many other podcasts have you guys seen that do stuff like this? And you're like, Concho, why can't we get us, the community, to do something like that?
100%.
You know, you see them at the bar, you see them at at the Samsung store, que sé yo, que sé yo cuánto. You're like, that's great. Okay, why can't we get our people to go to the Samsung store? They're free, by the way, but it takes a long while for them to say yes. I tried to get them as sponsors. They're like, nah, stop calling us. Look. We said no. I was trying to be like an aggressive door salesman. It didn't work. They just kept on going, nah. I was trying to open. So yeah, it's gonna be next year. I'm sorry, it took me. And we'll see what other podcasts we can get to participate. So con Dios mediante, hopefully we can get more people to participate and do this again. I enjoyed myself. I know you guys are hysterical. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And we needed heart and we needed, positivity. So thank you. President, bring it up. Yes. And of course, to bring out heart and for bringing out soul, for bringing out the deep discussion. I love you, but I had to walk. That was just too much for me. And I was like, mother's one, like, oh no, I touched my C-section. I was like, no. Okay, not the literal womb, but no, you know what I'm saying. See, but you got me there though. That's you got me. That's good. I'm glad. So I thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate your guests on the matter, and also I appreciate everybody for coming here tonight. I am ever so grateful. So anybody, one more question? Then we got to be out. I only have the place till 9, so just in case.
I have enough. I just want to thank you all for being part of the Black and Brown community and putting your voices out there. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Last but not least, shameless plug of where can we find you? I know where I can find you. Don't give money.
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
And if
Oh no,
anybody,
he's drinking, so he can't say
My coffee.
okay. And if anybody has Instagram, you guys can follow me on Tyson the Cosplay 3 on Instagram.
Notorious Moms, the podcast. It's everywhere. It's the same. And it's Notorious Moms with a Z.
What a Z.
With a Z.
There you go.
Moms.
Enemigos del Silencio podcast. So YouTube, Spotify, the same thing. Everywhere.
It's on my T-shirt. So this is your Spotlight TV show. It's on MNN and BronxNet on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. And this month's episode is going to be Jonathan Perez, who is AKA Latinos Against Spooky Shit. And we talk about, Jonathan, what would you do if you saw Chucky? He's like, easy, bro. Grab the chancleta and whack. What would you do if you saw, Freddy Krueger? I would drink nonstop and not fall asleep. And if I do, I'm gonna have a chancleta. I'm gonna slather myself in Vicks, and he goes, I'm gonna have some spicy ass foods. So anytime he comes near me with the claws, Latino.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds like a scary solution. Like, I don't want to go to your house, Jonathan. Nah.
Yo, everybody give a round of applause for Yuri for putting this whole thing together. She deserves all the credit, bringing us in, taking all the work, putting everything together. So thank you. We appreciate you.
And thank you, everybody. Adios.
All right, everyone head to the exit. This is not the airline. What's wrong with you? It's lit up.